Sawadee-krap, I'm JP Mestanza, and today is Monday, November 22nd. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by PBCPhuket.com. Praise is being heaped upon the Test and Go tourism scheme to allow vaccinated international arrivals to Thailand, especially here in Phuket, as Patong, Sayan, Prap Kisin is cautiously optimistic due to the return of many tourists to the famed Bangla Road. Patong is Phuket's Sin City, and the busy tourist strip of Bangla Road has always been deemed a barometer of how many tourists are in Phuket's traditionally busiest tourism town. From November 1st to the 18th of November, the Tourism Authority of Thailand stated that a total of 13,108 tourists arrived in Phuket under the Test and Go scheme, with another 7,278 entering through the Sandbox scheme, for a total of 20,386 tourist arrivals in the first 18 days of the month. Bangla Road has seen a massive uptick due to these numbers, and Patong hotelier and restaurateur Prap Kisin, whose father was the mayor of Patong, says many tourists are choosing to come to Phuket due to the high number of fully vaccinated people already on the island. He's optimistic, saying that about 20% of all businesses in Patong have reopened, but he hopes Phuketians and officials continue to work together to keep the island free from any outbreaks. He said, quote, "If we have good protection and have good vaccines, we may be able to restrict the number of infections here, but most importantly, I want to focus more on the perspective of mortality. If there are fewer deaths, then we should be able to relax and be allowed to continue doing business. That is, if we don't let our guard down." Mr. Prap's comments came as Deputy Director General of the Department of Health, Dr. Kachonsek Kaujarat, earlier last week visited Phuket in person to inspect the COVID prevention measures in effect along Bangla Road. The PPHO report marked no infections at any of the venues inspected and reported no breaches of any laws or regulations of any kind. However, the Phuket News over the weekend last week was informed of a cluster of 8 infections at one restaurant on Bangla Road, where the infected had been asked to stay at home. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The Deputy Chief of the Phuket Provincial Public Health Office, the PPHO, has gone public to tell parents that new COVID-19 infections among staff and children found at Phuket schools since November 1st were said to have come from family members, not new clusters at the schools themselves. Dr. Mempre Bunlom said that infections had been confirmed at about 11 schools across the island since November 1st, but she did not identify at which Phuket schools infections had been confirmed, or how many infections had been confirmed at the schools. Dr. Mempre did say that random COVID-19 testing of students using antigen test kits have been ongoing before on-site classes can resume at these schools. Dr. Mumpre's public announcement follows Darasamut Phuket School closing last week after a cluster of 7 students and 1 homeroom teacher were found to be infected with COVID-19. In addition, the Phuket News was informed by a concerned parent that 13 young students at a school in Koh Keo were taken to hospital quarantine last week after confirmation of infections, although no officials have publicly recognized any infections at the school. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The National Ombudsman is instructing the local highways department to expedite its project to make Kata Hill Road safer. He made the remarks during an inspection on the state of the road last week. It's been over a year since the collapse of the outside lane on the road over Kata Hill from Chalong to Kata, which took place in October 2020, and in the following months, local officials reduced the westbound section of Kata Hill to 1 lane. The head of the Phuket Highways Department explained that his office had reduced the westbound traffic to 1 lane for safety and installed reflective markers, warning signs, and a non-slip surface to the steep downhill section of the westbound lane for added safety. However, accidents still occurred on the downhill section, he admitted, but noted that most accidents were, quote, attributed to motorists driving too fast. The National Ombudsman is now ordering Phuket officials to ensure that they have the budget to improve safety at the dangerous site and install additional reflective markers and warning signs advising drivers of the sharp curve ahead and the steep downhill slope ahead. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. quality guaranteed since 2012. Call M Painting today.
Let's do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again.
Cases have jumped up just slightly over the last few days, with 65 total cases on Friday, 65 on Saturday, and 84 on Sunday, the highest daily total so far this month. During November, Phuket has recorded 1,254 total COVID cases, including tourists, for an average of 60 cases per day. This is still much better than October's daily average cases of 137 and September's whopping 228 per day. No new COVID-19 deaths were recorded over the weekend, as the November COVID death toll remains 14. A massive business move is in the works that would see the second biggest telecom company in Thailand, DTAC, and the third biggest, True Move, merge into one, and if approved, it would make this new entity the biggest mobile telecom company in the Kingdom of Thailand. The merge would see them join into one venture that would have 50 million subscribers, which would be about 6.3 million more subscribers than the current number one telecom operator in Thailand, AIS. DTAC is controlled by Telenor, a Norwegian firm that has a 65% stake in the company. True, meanwhile, is controlled by Charwen Pokphang Group, or CP Group, Thailand's largest conglomerate that owns the world's largest producer of feed and shrimp, and also owns Macro Cash and Carry stores in Thailand, 7-Eleven Thailand, and bought Tesco Lotus Thailand last year, which is now being rebranded as Lotuses. The two companies announced their plans last week after their respective executive boards approved the merger, and they informed the Stock Exchange of Thailand, with the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission set to meet with them next week to discuss the move's potential to change the landscape of the telecom industry in the Kingdom of Thailand and the potential market domination that would follow such a move. Regulatory approval from the NBTC is required before the merger is allowed to take place. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Monday, November 22nd on Phuket Extra, brought to you by PVCPhuket.com. Join us again on Tuesday. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000 and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks-and-mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.